I use the T-chart, which is a graphic organizer, and roles because the students were working in groups. I need everyone to stand up, and you're going to sit down based on the role you are going to be given today in your activity. I want the shortest person at each table to be my facilitator. They will be the talker, the reader. If you are the shortest person, you always get neglected. I know because I'm short. So come get your paper you need today if you're the shortest person. The rest of you still have to be standing. Okay, the tallest person. I would like for you to take control of the scissors. So find the scissors at your table and have a seat. Now, the next person is going to be the person with the longest hair, and you are going to be my gluers. So take possession of the glue. All right, the last person, you are going to be the person who makes the final decision on the answer. Your group will give their input, okay? You're the one that has to actually say to the gluer, we have chosen this, put it on the paper. Float from every table today. Okay? And you're going to make sure they're staying on task. You're the taskmaster. Okay? Float. If they're off task, you need to let me know so I can get them back on task. Okay. I need the person in charge who has the white paper to take your piece of colored paper and any color marker you desire. I put several out for you. All right, you are going to make a T-chart. That means you're going to make a T on your paper. This is your piece of paper. You're going to come down in the center, and you're going to go across there. You're going to write independent, and you're going to write dependent in your blanks. Da-da-da-da-da, okay? Since the students have to be able to differentiate between independent variable and dependent variable, I thought having them put that in a T-chart would be the best way to separate those two. And having them assigned roles gave them each a part so they were each responsible for participating in their groups. Now, you have been given a list, and it says identify the variables. You are going to cut the sentences apart, find the independent variable in each sentence, glue it down on the independent side, find the dependent, glue it down on the dependent side. Discuss it with your groups. Does everybody understand? You have 12 of them to talk about, cut, and glue. Okay? So I'm going to give the gluer the cutter another sheet so the reader can still have a sheet to read by. Everybody get an extra? Start cutting the sentences out if you're the cutter. This strategy helped the students see that both the independent and dependent variable can be in the same sentence, and that they can use one to find the other by simply asking themselves some questions. And since they had to cut the two apart from each other, they were able to say, well, this affects this, or this manipulates this, so they were able to successfully separate the independent from the dependent. All right, start reading it, start discussing what you think is which.
The temperature of air was measured at several times during the day.
Okay, so decide what you think is the dependent and the independent.
I didn't hear it.
He said the temperature of the air was measured at several times during the day.
several times during the day.
is what? Independent or dependent?
Dependent?
Why do you think dependent?
Because independent.
The dependent depends on the independent, okay? Okay, what did y'all decide for the first one? Read it again.
The first one? Which one are you? Oh, yeah. The temperature of the air was measured at several times during the day.
Okay, what's dependent in there and what's independent?
The temperature of the air.
You decide and glue it on the right place. Your gluer needs this. Who's the gluer?
Him.
Have we made any decisions?
We didn't even yet, but we're not.
Okay, well, glue, you're going to cut it in half. It's got both in it. You decide what of it's independent and what of it's dependent.
Oh.
The temperature of the air is one thing. Measured at several times during the day is the other thing. Okay? You've got temperature and you've got degrees. Which one is independent, which one is dependent? Whoa. This has to be separated. It's not all one thing. Okay? You've got to find the independent part of that and the dependent part of that. So let me take this off. Okay?
You possibly take that one off too.
The temperature of the air was measured at several times during the day. What part of that is independent and what part is dependent?
Oh, like one half is,
Yes.
we could put like one half of it.
Okay, but it's got to be cut. Y'all got to decide that one first. All right, what did y'all decide? But it's not all dependent. You've got to cut it in two. What part of it is dependent and what part is independent?
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have to cut out.
You have to cut it. It's part of it's dependent and part is independent.
That's what I'm trying to tell them, but they're not listening.
Okay, so the first part is dependent, and the second part of the sentence is independent.
Yes.
Alright, the first part of this
I didn't know what to
is
do. I was just asking.
independent, and the second part of this is dependent.
Okay, so who's cutting? He needs to cut it in half.
I'm confused. Isn't the temperature of the air independent? Because the temperature of the air is what you change.
But are you changing the times of the day you measure it?
Yes. Oh, see.
Do you have control over temperature?
No.
So can you change it?
No.
Okay, not in this case because it's being measured several times a day. So you're changing the times of day you're measuring.
Yeah.
Line right there. I'm talking. Where's the other part of number 5? People can get confused about
I'm
that.
going to write the numbers and which they match up to. We can do that too. We can write the numbers which they match up to.
Look. I thought this week on number 7. He was read number 7 side. See, I thought this was
Yeah, I know. It does look like independent because it says increase, which is
yes.
like.
Wait.
And let me talk.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
I thought that the lesson went well, and I like using the strategy for this because it clearly showed them that one is clearly one thing and the other is clearly a different thing. And letting them work in roles had them talking to one another and seeing what other people thought about which was which, and they were debating with each other and bringing up points that others had not considered. So it was very successful, and it brought in dialogue also. So I thought it was a good strategy for what we were doing in the class. Put anything you have cut out or your half cut out worksheet into the white envelope I provided. Put your names on it and put your name on the back of your chart. We will continue this exploration tomorrow. I found that my directions were not clear enough. The students thought they were to cut the sentences apart, as in one sentence and then the next sentence, when actually I was asking them to take one sentence and cut it into two pieces, because part of that sentence was the independent variable and part was the dependent variable. So the next time I do it, I definitely will model a sentence and show them that I'm actually cutting that one sentence into two pieces and then place it in the appropriate column on the T-chart.